The slave market stank of sweat, desperation, and metal. I kept my hood low, blending into the thick crowd of traders and leering buyers on the edge of Sector 9. They called it the Ring, a lawless rimworld colony where anything, or anyone, could be bought for the right price. I wasn't here to buy. I was here on Recon, gathering intel for a resistance movement that was still too small to call itself a rebellion. I'd seen horrors across half the galaxy: genetic torture, mind-wipe farms, entire cities erased. But nothing chilled me like what they sold here: living beings in cages, some not even classified as sentient anymore thanks to corporate reclassification bills. Then I saw her. She wasn't in a cage. That would have been too kind. Instead, they had her displayed like a prize animal, her wrists chained high to a metal beam, her feet barely brushing the floor of a raised platform. Her skin shimmered faintly, a silver rose tone that caught the red sun's light. Alien, yes, but unmistakably feminine. A tag was bolted to the beam above her head. Specimen number 411. Category: pleasure stock. Non sentient. But her eyes told a different story. When our eyes met, I didn't see a mindless drone. I saw fury. I saw intelligence, locked behind pain and fury and a thick haze of what looked like sedatives. And then, hope. Her lips moved slowly, cracked and dry. I leaned in. "Take me home," she whispered. I backed away, heart pounding. "Hey, you," the vendor barked. A thick-chested man with half his face replaced by rusted cybernetics stomped toward me. "You touch her, you pay." "I didn't touch," I said quickly, putting up both hands. "Just browsing." He grunted. "That one's high-end. Not like the others. Looks half dead, but she'll warm up real nice with the right push. Discount if you take her today." "What's she called?" I asked. The vendor scratched his neck. "She don't got a name. She's property. But came from some highborn moon world, I hear. Shipwrecked. We caught her before the wild beasts got to her." Liar. I could tell she hadn't come here by accident. She was hunted. I forced a smile. "I'll think about it." That night, I returned. Cloaked, armed, and under moonless skies. The ring shut down after midnight. Guards got lazy. Lights dimmed. I bypassed the perimeter using a stolen access code and made my way to the holding quarters. I knew the vendor's stock was kept in a storage cell behind the arena. I found her inside a dim, narrow chamber lined with body lockers. She lay chained in the center, barely conscious, breathing shallowly. "Hey," I whispered, kneeling beside her. "I'm getting you out." Her eyes fluttered. Recognition flashed in them. But she didn't speak. I pulled a plasma cutter from my belt and carefully sliced through her wrist restraints. When the metal dropped with a dull clang, she sagged into my arms. "We don't have much time," I said, lifting her. "Can you walk?" She nodded slowly, then staggered as I helped her stand. She was weak, but I could feel the strength in her frame, coiled, waiting. "Your name?" I asked as we moved down the corridor. "Do you have one?" "Xelara," she whispered. "Of the Errati spiral." We barely made it to the shuttle. Alarms blared behind us as patrol drones swarmed. I shoved Xelara into the cockpit and took the pilot seat. As I punched in coordinates for the Resistance hideout on Vega 4, she looked at me, not with fear, but curiosity. "You risked much for me," she said, her voice stronger now. "You asked me to take you home," I replied, guiding the ship into the stars. "I don't leave people in chains." She closed her eyes. "Then you may be the last good thing in this universe." The next few weeks were a blur. Xelara recovered quickly. The Resistance medics were stunned by her biology. Her species could self-heal using light and minerals. She spent hours in the greenhouse domes, basking in sunlight, absorbing nutrients from the soil like roots. When she was strong enough to stand unaided, she asked to train. "You know how to fight?" I asked. She gave a small smile. "My people were not only artists and healers. We were warriors once. They thought us extinct. So we trained. Every day. And I saw the fire in her return. The girl they had chained and drugged was gone. In her place stood a blade-sharp force, quiet and deliberate, her movements fluid and lethal. But she still looked at me like I was more than a rescuer. Like I was a tether. One night, under the stars of Vega 4, she approached me in the courtyard. "They broke many things in me," she said, "but not all." I looked up from the rifle I was cleaning. "You don't have to talk about it." "I want to," she said, sitting beside me. "Because if I'm to fight for your people, you should know who I am." She told me of the Errati, how her world was conquered by a corporate militia, how their cities were burned, their history erased. Her people had scattered, and she had been taken during a diplomatic mission gone wrong. They declared me non-sentient because I refused to speak. I thought silence would protect me. She paused. "But when I saw you, I knew someone was still listening." My chest tightened. I reached out, gently. She didn't flinch. "You're not alone anymore," I said. 6 months later, she stood beside me as a commander in the resistance. The day we liberated the ring was the day she broke her last chain. We came in hard, Vega warships above, ground teams below. As I stormed the arena, I saw her standing over the same vendor who once chained her. He lay in the dust, begging. "What do you want to do with him?" I asked. She looked down at him, then turned to me. "Leave him. Let him know what it feels like to be powerless." We walked away as the fires behind us climbed into the sky. That night, we stood on the same platform where I first saw her. Xelara looked around the ruins, then up at the stars. "You kept your word," she said softly. "You took me home." I stepped closer. "This is your home now. As long as you want it." She turned to me, her expression unreadable. "Then I choose to stay, with you." And for the first time, she smiled, not out of pain or defiance, but because she was free. And I realized then that I hadn't just rescued her. She had saved me too.